Take it the wrong way, right? He said, look, man, don't take this the wrong way. But people actually pay you to speak. That's what you do for a living. I said, yeah, but then you know how you try to tell your friends your resume? I said, well, you know, not just that. I started a company, we do school improvement work all over the country. We've got successful schools everywhere. He said, no. Don't take it the wrong way. But they actually pay you to speak. I had a little tang in me. So I got mad at the question. I said, well, what do you mean, Paul? He says, help me with this, John. When we were little, didn't you stutter? Severe. So here's what was happening that night. I want you to, because this is kind of like a testimony, but not real. I need you to hear this. Separation of church and state, all that good stuff. I need you to hear, I really need you to hear this, okay? I need you to hear this. A boy who could not read is asking a boy who could not speak. How'd you get here? Isn't that something? What was it? And you can look at all the variables, but here's one I want you to take home with you because it's consistent with what the research says. All right? So this is just not an emotional story. This is consistent with what the research said. We got to talking, and we found that the little boys on the left had the same fifth grade teacher. Miss Geraldine Dawson at Blueford Elementary. And she didn't care what your street looked like. And get this, she didn't care what the teacher who had you last year said about you. This Pear Street, that's the street I grew up on, here's Florida Street. This is where Paul grew up. Miss Dawson is the only teacher we ever had who came to our neighborhood. Other than coaches, we had one. We were outside playing football, and the ball froze in the air. And we looked down the street, and we knew it was her. She had a red car with an elephant on the tag in the front, because she's in the sorority that likes elephants. She drove past us, and we chased the car like little puppies. And she went to Paul's grandmother and told her that Paul was college material. How'd she know? She believed it first. And it happened. So, got a lot of things going on in our schools. We've got suspensions happening at record levels. And we differentiate our referrals between majors and minors. You've heard of that, right? And to be honest, when you start dissecting some of those majors, some of the majors are minors cloaked in bias. Because you don't like, not only do you not like the child, or not like what the child did, you don't like the kid. That happens. Guys, not in North Carolina. Not in North Carolina, but in every state I'm in, there are educators who straight up don't like children. And if you got to drive up to your building every day and talk to Jesus for 20 minutes because you don't want to walk in the building, I'm going to say that again so that Tori gets this on film. If you have to drive to your building every day and talk to Jesus for 20 minutes because you don't want to walk in the building, education might not be for you. Because children need your best every day, which might mean you have to fake it some days. You fake other stuff. That's a whole other presentation. The stuff we fake. Here's what we have to do, and you gotta write this down. Short but powerful. We have to make the best of what happens in our schools so systemic that it does not matter which teacher you get. You don't look up and get Miss Dawson because everybody's Miss Dawson, right? We have to make the best of what we do in our schools, and I would argue school districts, so systemic that it doesn't matter which teacher you get and it doesn't matter which school you go to. Right? Clap if you agree. That's serious. Because if we don't get it done, pre-K through 12, children die. I know it, I've lived it. So, here's what the research says. Werner and Smith, this is amazing research. They followed children from pre-birth to their mid-30s. Write their names down. This is now a grad course. Werner and Smith. And one of the things they tried to do was predict the likelihood of success. Like, what would make success more likely when kids turn 32? What things could we put in place in their lives to make success more likely? They found lots of factors, but I want you to look at just this one. They found that if you are exposed to a caring adult somewhere between 0 and 18 years old, and you think that adult really cares about you, you believe them, your likelihood of success in adulthood is quadrupled. So who are those caring adults? It's us. It's us. We can be that person. The research says if you are that person, success is more likely. And that is a big, big deal. This is scary. This is scary. A child can't read by 8 years old. Like Paul. They're 6 times less likely to graduate from high school. But later on, 63 times more likely to be put in prison. I didn't say 6 times. I said 63 times more likely to be incarcerated. That is staggering. So literacy in early years is huge. As counselors, encouraging kids to read is a big deal because it will change lives. We have to be holistic in our approaches to education. Addressing the academic needs are important, but social moral development is even more important, especially when kids are impoverished. But you know what? Some of our affluent children need social moral development too, right? I mean, let me impress this upon you. You guys watched the news this morning. You saw what happened. Now, I graduated from Virginia Tech, and a child from a good home showed up one day and shot and killed over 30 people. And nobody saw it coming. He was from a good home. So, rich or poor, they all need us. And we have to be holistic in our approach to education. Our organization calls it SAME. Social, academic, and moral education. That's what I'm going to be talking about in my breakout session. SAME says, how much time do I have, Rob? Am I good? All right, I'm good. SAME says that in a school, you have to address what we call the social environment. And the social environment deals with how members of the school community behave. Now, when I say school and behavior, who do most people think I'm talking about? Most people think I'm talking about the kids. I am, but not just the kids, because children model what they see. Children model what they see. So we have to be what we want them to become. So we have to show them overtly what respect looks like. Don't tell me that respect is important. Don't put up a respect poster and I see you disrespecting the custodian. Right? You need to show me what this looks like because you're going to be my best example. So show me daily what respect looks like. And I'm more likely to be able to show you respect. Respect in our schools is more akin to kindness, right? But respect in the hood looks more like fear. It does. We've got to show kids the difference. Respect in everyday life looks more like kindness, so we have to model that. So the social environment deals with behavior, the academic environment deals with teaching and learning, the moral environment deals with beliefs. And beliefs drive everything. Beliefs drive what you do. These things have to be addressed within a culture of distributed leadership. So that's my next session. Moving right along, we have to maintain a loving and supportive school environment. So in our lab school, with 1,000 kids, most of whom were impoverished, we decided to welcome children into school every day with a handshake. I shook 1,000 hands a day, caught a lot of colds. But what does that say to a child? I'm glad to see you. And I'm not going to remind you what happened yesterday, because it showed up today, right? Here's how that looked. This is old. I'm looking young at this one.
We believe in high standards. We believe in accountability here. And we look at standards of learning as a good thing. It's a roadmap. The way you teach it, the way you deliver content in your classroom leaves you a whole lot of room for creativity. The etiquette class, tennis as a social bridge, as a source of physical fitness. We greet every student who walks into our door with a handshake every morning. What that allows us to do is see how the student is doing that day. It also is teaching them how to interact in the business community. A firm handshake goes a long way, and we know that. These are skills that we know make our students more well-rounded. There's a definite greater focus on exactly what needs to be taught now. I think some great teaching went on before, but we're of course more focused now, and that's what standards do.
Okay, what about you?
And we don't seek to just meet the standard. Our goal here is to surpass the standard, and we really do believe we can.
That failing school became the highest performing school in the district, right? So we proved what was possible. Belief systems, again, drive what we do. Oak Elementary School had 2 researchers show up and randomly select 20% of the children. Randomly selected, so they didn't even know who the kids were. They put the names of these kids on a list and told all the teachers that these kids were super smart. That's all they did. They didn't buy a new program, they didn't train the teachers, they just lied to them. They said these children are super smart. They went back 8 months later, and the kids on the list outperformed everybody else. What changed? Beliefs changed. What if I still have belief challenges, John? You don't know our kids. I mean, you just don't know what I go through. Marzano, in the Art and Science of Teaching, asks the same question. What do I do if I have belief challenges? I'm human. It means you're human, right? I'm going to shock you with something. You're not going to believe this. Are you ready? I am black. I know that's shocking. And I was at a school that was majority minority. I had to work on me first, right? I had to treat them like they could make it anyway. I don't care who you are, that takes some work in here. So Marzano says, well, what if I have belief challenges? What should I do? He says, pages 167 to 173, you should write it down. He says, look, you're human. Acknowledge your low expectations to yourself, but then act in contradiction to them. In other words, treat every child like we treat our gifted. Acknowledge it to yourself, but then act in contradiction to it. In other words, I need you to hear me. In other words, treat him like he can graduate. Not on graduation day, but 9th grade. when his mother is afraid to leave him with you because he can hardly breathe, and you're thinking to yourself, this is going to be a tough road, you say to him that day, welcome to the class of 2018. Because the research suggests with support, he can. And that's great news for us in education. Every state has their own assessment system. The one in Virginia, I'm not making it up. I don't know what drunk politician came up with that name. But it's called SOL. I'm not making it up. And among other possible interpretations, SOL means standards of learning. You're breathing a sigh of relief, I can tell. And on our SOL assessments in this school, following the model that I briefly described, and working on our belief systems and our practices every day, that's what we achieved. Now, what year was it? 5. So it wasn't instant. And here's where we started. All right? But what year was it? Year 5. So it takes time, but it is possible. But we're going to end with this. As counselors, one of the things I want you to do when you get back home is encourage your children to dream. Encourage them to have goals and dreams, even if the dreams sound impossible. Because if the dream is big enough, the circumstances they're in don't matter as much, right? If the dream is big enough, the circumstances don't matter. So I'm going to let you meet some of my former students. This is a short clip, and we're going to end. I want you to pay close attention to the second young man. Pay close attention to the second young man. His name is Franklin, and Franklin's going to tell you his dream. Are you ready? All right, here we go. Let's turn it up.
My dream is to become an aerospace engineer or a civil engineer.
My dream is to go into the military and become a mechanical engineer. My dream is to become an architect.
My dream is to be a very successful teacher.
My dream is to be a judge or a singer.
Graduate with honors, want to go to a University of Virginia. I want to be a basketball player. When I retire, I want to be an engineer.
My dream when I grow up is to be a speech pathologist,
To be a veterinarian.
and architectural engineer.
My dream is to be a Navy SEAL.
This is our future right here.
That Navy SEAL is probably my fault. I'm expecting them to shoot me any day and rappel down into my yard. Say, I got you, Mr. Hodges. Franklin, what did he say? I want to be a mechanical engineer. And on the road toward becoming a mechanical engineer, Franklin slept in a car some nights. But his dream was bigger than the car. Right? Who feels me on that? That's the year. Right? It was bigger than the car. So years later, I'm mowing my lawn. Years later, and I take pride in my lawn, I concentrate. Postman comes by, jumps out of the Jeep. He says, Mr. Hodge, you gotta come see this. I said, it must be a heck of a bill if I gotta walk over there and see it. He says, no, sir. I'll walk over there. He hands me a package. And inside the package, Franklin invited my wife and I to his graduation from the United States Naval Academy. I'm not finished. It gets better. So when we see Franklin, I'm going to borrow this. He goes like this. That was his diploma, his degree. And what did it say? Mechanical engineering. Right? So, if you're on Twitter, I want you to tweet about this experience because we shared something today, didn't we? This is a heart thing here. I'm playing for keeps. This is why God put me here. So we shared something today. I want you to tell somebody about it. But here's what I want you to do. I want you to write mechanical engineer right under I'm moving. And circle it. Mechanical engineer right under our movement. Good old Franklin joined another club. Years later, married his college sweetheart. At the end of the ceremony, I couldn't say the whole thing. He walks me to my car, shakes my hand, says, Mr. Hodge, I'll never sleep in a car. That's bigger than test scores, right? That's why we want the test scores. If we get the test scores, then our babies don't have to sleep in cars. That's why we want it. So guys, it has been an honor to come home. God bless you and thank you for your time this morning.